Okay, so as Tariq has mentioned, my name is Lawrence Muthoga, and I look after Microsoft's open source business in the cloud. I'll touch a bit on that as we move along, but in the meantime, I'm also looking after our data modernization business. And I'm honored to be here with you today, and I'm happy to take you through a bit of how Microsoft looks at data modernization. What is it? Why is it important? And why is now the best time to modernize? The last 2 years, honestly, have been some of the most interesting years for technology, but some of the hardest years for humanity. Let's be very honest. We've had to change not only as individuals, but also as organizations. We've had to be open to remote work. And I'd say a conference like this is a direct consequence of that. I'm joining you from Kenya. Some people are joining from Dubai, and you are everywhere across Middle East and Africa. However, 2021 brought in a new question, which was what happens next? Where do we go from here? And the most important thing was recovering. If you had business strategies that had slowed down or stalled, you needed to adapt and change and grow and go to the next level. But number two was our customers had changed. And this was true not just for large tech companies like us, but also for small businesses as well. Customers expected more of a digital experience. If they could use an app, it would be better because that means they can go along with their day-to-day lives and actually still engage with you as a business. And then also we saw a huge adoption of emerging technologies. In fact, one of my colleagues mentioned that the last 2 years have done for technology what it took 10 years to do for the cloud. It has been a really, really massive shift across the board. And this can be we can put this into actual numbers, right? We can see the rising spend in IT. We can see the fact that more and more end users are willing to spend on technology. And for me, the important question here today is how does that impact you as a business? Allow me to put on my open source hat and share a bit about Microsoft and open source. Microsoft traditionally, and for a very, very long time, and open source have always been at loggerheads. And this has changed in the last actually 10 to 15 years, with Microsoft becoming one of the largest contributors to open source. Now, you might be thinking, why is this important? What does this have to do with data modernization? And the thing is, it has a lot to do with it. Why? Because we know most organizations out there are running open source databases. You have your data seated on open source technologies. And I'm happy to share that now Microsoft can support you in your open source journey in case you're looking at open source solutions.
I think it's a wonderful way to end your comment is that it is now accessible to everyone, and no company is too small or too big to be able to utilize that and compete. So it's actually democratization of business and of competition. And I find that very close to my heart, that any company can now compete with the biggest out there because we have the facilities of the cloud and all of the other facilities that we looked at to get us to that particular point. Lawrence, my open source man, tell us and help us go on the road.
Okay, so I won't repeat everything that has been said. So allow me to end this with a stupid short story. In Kenya, there's something called the Elephant Highway, where elephants leave the Aberdares and travel to Mount Kenya about twice a year. And I grew up near the Elephant Highway. And there are three things you learn about elephants very, very early. Number one is elephants love sugarcane. So don't plant sugarcane near there. They will camp in your farm. Two is elephants love watermelon. Oh my goodness. They literally will camp at your farm. And three, don't ask me how I know this, but elephant meat is tough. So when we say don't try and eat the whole elephant, trust you me, we mean it. So as you start your data journey, don't try and eat the whole elephant because I've tried. You can't. It is tough meat. So please use the solution assessment link that's been provided. Reach out to Christoph, reach out to Tariq. The resources are all there. And I wish you all the best in this data journey. And again, it's change management. You'll slowly adapt as an organization. And I'd like to say a big thank you for attending this, and a big thank you to Tariq and team for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lawrence, for the wonderful story that you ended with. I thank all the people who attended, Francisco, who supported us all the way through, Christoph, who's working there. And I think one of the important takeaways for me now, on the same amusing note, is we have to be careful with our melons and our sugarcane. So we have to make sure that we don't throw too much at people so that they are able to absorb everything that we have to offer. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen who have attended, and all the best. We'll see you soon. All the best.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yes, bye.